Welcome to the latest episode of UnHypnotized with your host, me, True Heather. Now, tonight's guest is somebody that I have been wanting to have a conversation about dating outside of voice memos back and forth on DMs and, having conversations online. He's somebody that I really started to love his sense of humor and the way he talks about Bitcoin and then listen to his Bitcoin podcast. So I'm thrilled to have you on the show. And I was going to ask you, like, do I just say welcome, Sly Goomba?
You can say, welcome, Sly Goomba. That's a great way to introduce somebody to a podcast. Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Heather.
Yeah, saying welcome is probably a good idea.
I don't know if there's any other options. You're doing great so far.
Well, I was like, I know you're pretty anonymous, and I feel very blessed to have your face.
I'm not, I'm not,
From you.
I'm not fully anonymous anymore. I am producing my own show that is on YouTube, so I'm a professional YouTuber. You can see my face out there. It's fine.
I like it. I like it, but it's pretty recent that you put your face out there with your name and stuff, right?
That's right. Yeah, I was anonymous for a long time, and then I just decided, you know what? This is the thing with Bitcoin. It either succeeds or fails. And either way, so I'm in the camp that Bitcoin succeeds, at which point we're not going to the concentration camps. If Bitcoin fails, they're gonna find me anyways and they're gonna send me to the concentration camps, but I choose not to live in that world. So let's put our faces out there, say I'm a Bitcoiner, I'm proud of being a Bitcoiner, and live your life, you know? So here I am. Let's
Well, and might as well party till we drop. Let me know if that does happen. Like, we might as well connect. I was
absolutely.
literally just thinking that, like, as I was getting ready for this today, about how my favorite Bitcoiners are ones that I see out and I connect with and are like in the communities as like real faces.
Yeah, for sure. How was the Bitcoin meetup the other day? I missed it.
Oh, it was good. I taught two people how to do a lightning transaction.
What are people doing at a Bitcoin meetup if they don't know how to do a lightning transaction?
I know.
That's
I was
fun. I guess everybody's on their own paths
Well,
too.
that's the thing. That's the thing. I mean, it's been fun because we do end up talking about dating. That's probably my influence because I talk a lot about dating and Bitcoin these days, but it's a hot topic.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Like, it's actually a hot topic, and it's kind of funny because I was thinking about this too, like, the anonymous versus the non-anonymous, and whenever, I am posting on X or there's some banter going around about dating on X, I always get a few DMs of, I'm assuming men
Okay.
connecting with me, but I'm always like, "Well, you know that, like, your face is like your profile picture is this, like, thing with, like, laser eyes, or it's, like, just a picture of Michael Saylor, like, I don't know who you are."
Yeah, absolutely. I don't share that. I mean, I do have a lot of Asian girls in my DMs saying they have great investment opportunities for me. But I haven't had any real, real women in my DMs, I don't think, especially any with laser eyes coming out of their face. So that might be a difference between male and female Bitcoiners for sure.
Maybe. I mean, at some point, like, some seem very genuine, but I still had to kinda remind them, like, that, like, your name and your face is just anonymous, right?
Can we tell the story of how me and you connected? Is
Yes.
that allowed to do on our
Of
bill?
course. Of course.
Okay, okay, listeners.
Oh my god.
So, me scrolling dating apps, the subject of the show. Sure enough, I come across Heather. I'm like, oh, I know this girl. She's a Bitcoiner. I think you had Bitcoin in your bio in some in some way, just like
I did.
Bitcoiners. Yeah, and I was like, okay, cool. So I DM'd that, and I was probably one of the guys that DM'd you on Twitter. I was like, hey, by the way, swiped you on Bumble or whatever, and you're like, no way. And I'm this Goomba with lasers coming out of my eyes. I was like, okay, cool. But we had met a couple times before. But
Yeah.
when I went out to other events, be I wouldn't be promoting who I was on Twitter. I would just be like, oh hey, I'm here, I'm a Bitcoiner, yeah, cool. So I was like, oh, I'm so and so, this is what I do, this is what I say. And you're like, oh my god. Anyways, so that was funny. So our original connection was through a dating app, which means, if you think about it, dating apps work.
It's not so bad after all. Actually, some people that are still my friends today, I met on a dating app, even if I didn't date
Nice.
them.
Okay, cool.
You know, that's true because like then that's when I connected the two. I'm like, oh, you're actually like a real person in my area. But I honestly just like totally crushed on you and like liked you just because of your ex presence. So I actually love that I got to know you like that and your personality and your sense of humor before knowing that you were like a real regular person, not regular, but you know what I mean, like a real
Right.
person in the no, not regular.
Yeah. We definitely need, they say Orange Pill app is not a dating app, but we definitely need something you can swipe on Bitcoiners. We need to know where the hot Bitcoiners in your area are, not
Yeah.
the Bitcoiners. We need the hot Bitcoiners. Those are the important ones.
Well, that's what Dave Bradley always says. The only thing you need to do to be successful on a dating app is be hot.
Yeah, for sure. Or be a Bitcoiner. One of the two. Either way. Usually both.
Okay, but this is a good way to, dive more into dating as a Bitcoiner because like even for me as a female, as a woman, like I found most of the women that I meet are like in relationships or married and even a lot of them either got into Bitcoin from their significant other or like from their husband or they're dating someone that's not a Bitcoiner.
Mhm.
That's more rare. But I actually genuinely wonder like how many women in Bitcoin are single.
Yeah, I guess that's a good question. Is there, are there any? I don't know. I've been looking for one. I haven't found one yet. That's for sure. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of single men in Bitcoin. I don't know if there's a lot of single women in Bitcoin, but there's just people say that Bitcoin is primarily male denominated. I don't know if that's true or false. I think, and the problem with that is to say that men care about money more or finance more or wealth more. And I don't think that's true because I don't think Bitcoin is about any of those things. I think Bitcoin is about sovereignty and freedom and loving yourself. And so that's a male and a female thing. It's just so happens that, yeah, there's more guys. I'm not sure why, but
Well,
the whole world is going to become a Bitcoiner at some point. So then it'll be balanced out. Then it's just a question of how many guys and how many girls are there.
yeah, I guess. I mean, I did get some stats from Mateo of the Orange Pill app because there's a group in there that were in women who Bitcoin. And he said that's like all the women on that app were in that group. And they told me, like how many people are on the app. And I think it's like honestly, that group is like 3% of the people on the app.
Wow. Okay.
So
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't find it to be particularly helpful in looking for a Bitcoiner when I was considering looking for one. Because again, there was just like a lot of anonymous people, and anyone that was already there, I'd already met at Bitcoin meetups. Or
No, that's fair. That's fair.
yeah, yeah.
So the question you have to ask yourself is, do you want to meet a Bitcoiner or do you want to build and make your own Bitcoiner?
Well,
This
that
this is the
yeah,
real balance, right?
yeah. Well, that's actually what I was wanting to ask you because I think that because I have recently kind of connected with someone and he's not a Bitcoiner,
Okay.
but he has every like I say to him, like, you're such a Bitcoiner.
Yeah,
Because,
I know those people.
you know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually keep saying that, and then I feel like it's helping orange pill people because
Okay.
like anyone that's speaking to freedom or especially health sovereignty or just understands, the programming that we've got to be so cautious about not taking on, like the fiat programming. I'm just like, you sound like a Bitcoiner though. And so I guess that's my question for you because I know that you have like have you like orange pilled your girlfriends and such in the past?
Okay, so here, let me start
Yeah.
in the beginning, right? So when I found, we'll get into the real personal dark stuff. I guess might as well, right? Be honest.
Yeah.
Uh, when I found Bitcoin, I was with a woman that I had been for since college. We had a child together. I went hard into Bitcoin. We met when we were 18. We turned 30. I think a lot of Bitcoiners, this is another joke I like to say, is a lot of Bitcoiners are 30 something year old men. But when you turn 30, you have like, or 31, Saturn return, is when a lot of shifts change in your life and you start going down a different path or you start, anyways, long story short is that me and my ex, we realized that we wanted different things out of life, right? I wanted to be a hardcore Bitcoiner, build an off-grid log cabin in the woods, and she was wanted to be a city girl that lives downtown. I was like, okay, well, this doesn't work anymore. It was a very difficult process to go through, but that did happen. Luckily, I have my son; he's amazing. Um, I wish I could have made it work. We couldn't make it work. Sometimes people just don't match up, and it is what it is. And you need to move forward through that. It's a situation that a lot of people in the world are going through right now, and it sucks. Like it fucking sucks for sure. Sorry to swear on your show. I'll try not to.
Oh, that's
But
okay.
um, yeah, like when you're with somebody for such a long time, and then you grow into different people, especially somebody that becomes a very insane Bitcoiner and somebody that just wants to be who they are. It's fine, but you once you can't connect with somebody anymore,
Yeah.
um there's the relationship just kind of crumbles, right? So we made the choice to separate, and then here I was 30 something years old, psycho Bitcoiner. What do I do next? um and I took some time to myself, tried to figure things out. Haven't figured out a single thing yet, but we move forward, right? So now I play this dating game and I wonder to myself, like, what kind of person do you want to be with?
Mhm.
And somebody I want to be with is somebody that shares the same values that I do. Uh, Opposites attract for sure, but at the same time, you need to have certain things in common with the person that you're going to spend your life with, where you can get along and talk about things that you care about. I personally happen to care a lot about Bitcoin, and what it's going to do to the world, and it's something I share all the time. When I started dating, I would go pretty like just balls to the wall right away, and then as time moved on, I was like, okay, maybe I should leave the Bitcoin thing to like date number 3.
Like, don't lead with it.
Yeah. It's like, when are you gonna have sex? Date number 1? No, no, no. Date number whatever, right? It's like, when are you gonna talk about Bitcoin? Date number 1? No, no, no. Leave it
It's like
early.
women when they're like when they lead with marriage on the first date or something.
Like, how intense are you? Uh-oh, am I still here? Okay, so
Yeah.
my computer
Yeah.
just froze.
Good, good.
Um, so yeah, I guess what matters to me when trying to find someone is somebody that shares your values or at least appreciates your hobbies or what you care about. And you have to share those things, right? Like if you don't talk about them,
Mhm.
then you're gonna end up with somebody that you just don't get along with again. And I'm not gonna do that again. So yeah, I've kind of trailed off a bit and I've lost what your original question
No,
was.
that's exactly what we're saying, right? Like, ultimately, if you're co-creating with someone, you have to have, like, a similar desire for the vision for the future.
Mhm, mhm,
Like, you have to have, like it's not like you have to want exactly the same things, but you have to wanna create or somewhat live in the same type of way.
mhm,
And I don't know about you, but I know for me, like, Bitcoin really changed my standards of what I look for in a relationship, and I often would just find myself, like, wanting to but, like, I would rather be by myself
yeah.
than just compromise or just be with someone that their brain, like, can't freaking expand a bit to see, like, a bigger vision of things.
I feel bad for whoever you dated that made you feel like, man, why can't you just expand your brain, bro? Like, yeah, but I get that. It's brutal.
I mean, it's kinda though, it's like it's kind of a lot of people are like that, you know?
That's true. That's true.
Like, that's to me the normal brain because, like, it's like a lot of people believe that the possibility for the future is based on what's happened in the past.
Mm.
So that's like one of I think one of the least attractive mindsets around.
Yeah, one thing that all Bitcoiners share is to throw out a cliche, but like hopefulness, right? And excitability about the future,
Mhm,
and like so stoked for what's about to happen.
mhm.
When you talk to, like you said, you talk to a lot of people, and then you say like, oh, by the way, if you learn about Bitcoin, like you'll stop being a loser and you'll stop being a broke like bitch. And they look at you and laugh, right? It's like, haha, yeah, right. I'm not looking for a reason to stop being a broke loser. It's like, oh, okay, I guess, whatever, then we can't get along. Like, yeah, people are so stuck in their lifestyle of being miserable that they'd prefer to be miserable. It's so sad.
Well, or they don't believe that there's like I don't know if they prefer to be miserable, but
Yeah,
I they don't believe they don't understand that it's possible to actually not be miserable.
yeah.
Like a
Well,
lot of people think like they've got to find a way to change or get out of their circumstances to not be miserable, but they don't understand it's like an inside job.
yeah. There's also a lot of
Yeah.
victim
Yeah.
mentality going on, where
Yeah.
people
Oh,
say, "Oh, life is happening to me, and it's so hard." It's like you can just make choices to make your life better. Do you want to do that? No, I don't want to do that because life is hard, and I don't want to make hard choices.
yeah, I mean, that's a very I mean, that is a very uncompassionate way to look at people, honestly, but I I
I'm uncompassionate to the theater. I know it's
I know you are, I know you are, but you have to remember too that, like, people have limitations, right? And if they've never been taken beyond their limitations, that they can't understand that things could be better. They can't understand that what they think they have to do to improve their lives isn't probably what they have to do. And I know like I was writing a bit for a while about like the hypnotist guide to orange pilling someone. And I stopped doing that because I don't actually care about orange pilling people anymore. I think
okay.
that's like the newbie phase of like being all excited about Bitcoin. And I mean, I still regularly do, but just because like of that being like, oh, you sound like such a Bitcoiner. And then somebody will say to me, oh, yeah, I heard that's like associated with the black market. Like someone literally said that to me this week in Calgary.
What in 2025?
Yes,
Holy shit!
at the networking thing where I was doing my talk. They were like, "We've just been avoiding it." And they're like the perfect people for to be Bitcoiners and have a circular economy and like come to the SAP market and like exchange their goods and services with other people.
Mhm.
So I think that there's always going to be people that are closed to opportunity. It's the same in health. People are closed to ways that they could feel healthier, but I think that they just don't really believe it. But I also think that part of the problem is that why they don't believe it is because they're just being hypnotized by the media and Hollywood to have these limitations and
Mm.
fears.
Yeah, so the thing about orange pilling or just talking about Bitcoin to people, I've found that there's like two kinds of people. The people that you look at and you're like, "Oh, you're a Bitcoiner. You should be into Bitcoin." And they say no. And for the most part, what I've found is those people don't really need Bitcoin. They're already self-sufficient. They're already living the life that they want to live. They're already happy. They're already, doing they're already freedom focused. Bitcoin is a very small part of what they need to continue on that path, right? But what you find in the dating world is like this is sad too. But you talk to people, and this is the thing about orange pilling, right? Like I've also stopped orange pilling, but I'll talk to Bitcoin about people that I care about, and then if I care about them more and more as time goes on,
Mhm.
I'll talk more about Bitcoin to them. Why? Because Bitcoin solves their problems, right? It's like, wow, your house might get foreclosed on because you can't afford your mortgage payment. Yeah, do you know that the fiat system is the reason that your mortgage is going up and all this shit? Do you know how interest rates work? Do you know that, like all this shit, right? It's like, by the way, save in Bitcoin, you'll be just fine. But those people are on this downward trend, and it's really hard to get them out of that. I've talked
Mhm.
to lots of people that I care about. I'm like, I'm not talking to you about Bitcoin because I want to get rich or whatever the fuck. It's like, I'm talking about Bitcoin because it's going to solve the issues that you're having that you're telling me. When you're in the dating world and you're talking to somebody for 1 month, 3 months, half a year, whatever it is, you get to know each other, obviously.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you find out people's problems. And unfortunately for them, the answer to a lot of their problems is simply saving a Bitcoin. Because what is their problems? The problems is that they're getting poorer. Their problems is that everything's getting more expensive. Their
Well,
problem,
and then all the stress, right? So even if they're feeling stressed or like, or having like tension in their marriage or their relationships, probably a lot of this is like the pressure.
yeah, I wouldn't recommend dating somebody that's in a marriage for sure. It's probably not going to work out well. I don't know if
No,
that's
I
true,
mean, oh yeah, I
but
guess you're talking about people that are dating, but this is everyone though, right? Like
it is everyone.
people in relationship in general.
Yeah. Yeah, it all comes down to why is somebody stressed? You find out their reason for stress. Usually it comes down to their financial situation, and then
Mm.
so often of the time, and if it's not their financial situation, then it's I don't know. I don't know. I fucking honestly, I don't I'm trying to think right now of somebody I've talked to that
Yeah.
has had troubles in their life and it's not financially focused.
Mm.
Like aside from
Mm.
parents dying or like just normal things that happen in life
Mm.
that already have
Yeah.
a system of things that can help you through those moments, right? Like you talk to somebody,
Oh.
oh, my dad just died. Like, wow, that's
Yeah.
fucking
Like
shitty.
grief. Well, that's
Yeah.
very interesting because, like, for me, I don't have, like, especially when I think of my clients and my community, is very rarely that money is the problem.
What's the
It's because
problem?
they're, like,
Problem.
going through a dark night of the soul, transitions, trauma, like, really being, like, high level, like, achievers or business or, like, entrepreneurs.
Why are they, yeah.
So, you know,
Oh, yeah. You're talking to more high net worth individuals, you're saying?
well, not even that, I'm just talking about where the inflation isn't there,
Isn't the
like
problem?
yeah, like, they're still their inner paradigm is still absolutely affected by this by the fiat system because it doesn't allow for a lot of, time for integration, exploration, spiritual practice, so they are often sort of playing this game of like burnout and like balance and health and hormones and all this. So there's definitely like I could pull on the thread of the fiat system and how that's contributing to their inability or even what they've taken on in terms of like of this type of mentality, like it's on me to if I could just be better, if I could just be smarter, if I could just be healthier, if I could just be thinner, then I could get ahead of all this, right?
Hmm, hmm.
So that's still
So what the problem that they're having is, and you talk like I've talked to people that run very profitable
mm,
profitable businesses, and it's like, hey, Bitcoin would be good for you, and these people have all the like a lot of people. There's people out there that have all the money in the world, and that's fine, but there's still a trap to their business or they're entrapped to their
mhm,
job or whatever it is, right? So ultimately, it's not a problem of money; it's a problem of how they spend their time, right?
mhm,
And
mhm.
so that's another lesson I think Bitcoin teaches is that, hey, by the way, your time is important, right?
Yeah,
And that's probably the lesson that you're trying to teach people when you're hypnotizing them is like care about yourself. Do the shit that you want to do. And so many people are stuck doing the things they don't want to do because it's what they've been doing
yeah,
that they can't even take it like three set steps back to say, "Oh, yeah, you know what? It would be nice to go on a hike in the mountains. Oh, it would be nice to do this." It's like they're so entrapped. It doesn't matter where they are in the fiat scale of wealth.
mhm,
Doesn't matter. They're still trapped to that system because the
yeah,
game in that system is
yeah.
obtaining more and more and more and more and more.
Well, and there's like a programming built into that that is really not about self-care.
Hmm.
And they also, I mean, it's not normal for people to realize, like, if you really follow your heart and your desires, like, opportunities will unfold along the way. And, this is what I love about Bitcoin, because I feel like Bitcoin, and you can probably speak to this because you had, like, when you got into Bitcoin, you went ham, and then you did your podcast, you know? Like,
Yeah.
you went ham, and, like, I think that Bitcoin is like a catalyst for, like, just waking you the fuck up and raising your consciousness. Like, when I think of even how I work with people today, it's like shifted significantly since Bitcoin. So tell us a little bit about your.
Sure. First off, comment on saying you went ham. I don't know if the kids still say that. That's
No, but
got to
I
be
mean,
that's got to be outdated by now. Going ham? I remember
I
doing that
mean,
in high school.
well,
That's a
how
long
many
time ago
like
now.
what do you think we have like a bunch of like who watches this podcast?
You're going ham. All right, it's still a thing. I'll
Like
give it to
you
you.
know what it means. So
I
stop
know what it
my
means.
kids
I do
saying
know what it means, so it fits. It's fine. It's just funny to hear it. Um,
I mean,
okay,
I'm
what was
old
the question?
school.
How did I
Old
change?
school.
Yeah, old school.
Yeah.
This is the main
Okay.
thing that changed in me. Again, it comes back to how you denote how you use your time. So before Bitcoin, I was a major stressor. I work so a lot of people in Bitcoin are like very uh big entrepreneurs or they have their own businesses, all these things. I was not that guy. I'm a run-of-the-mill construction worker. I just go to work, put on a roof or lay down a floor, whatever the job of the day is. And it's very easy to become a workaholic in that like world, which is what I did.
I can
I was
imagine.
working I was working like I think 16 to 18 hours a day. Like back to back to back to back to back. And it wasn't a problem to me. It's just what I did. And yeah, the money was good. It was fine. And my son was born, and I remember he was like 2 years old, and I was still working these crazy hours. And I looked back and I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, and working all those crazy hours, this is the other thing that drove me nuts is
Yeah,
even working all those crazy hours, making all that money, all that happens when you make more money is you spend more money,
totally.
right? So that's the life I was living. Okay, I made X amount this week. Let's go spend that exact amount so that next week I have to go back to work and work like an idiot. So then I found Bitcoin and I realized, oh, like I can just like chill. I don't have to work like a maniac. What really matters to me? What matters to me is my time with my kid. So how do I maximize that? Right? And so I tried to figure out how to do that. And what I realized is work less, spend more time at home. And it's a very simple calculation, right?
Mhm.
Um, but it's hard to do that when you're struggling to get by. And most people don't have like a getting money problem. They have a spending problem.
Yeah, that's
And
always been my problem.
this was the major breakthrough for me for
Yeah.
Bitcoin. And maybe people will think of this like maybe I'm outside of the box here, but like buying Bitcoin scratches that itch for me. It's like, yeah. But it's funny, right? It's like I'm saving money, but at the same time that like inner ape in me is like I'm spending money.
Like you still get a little bit of a like the shopping dopamine, you know?
Yeah, that dopamine. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Right.
yeah,
So it's like, yeah. And
yeah.
so I've maximized that, right? Like I'm one of those guys that I get my paycheck, I put aside what I need for bills and
Mhm.
groceries or whatever, and then I put the rest in Bitcoin.
Awesome.
Uh,
Yeah.
but but
Good.
that yeah, it stopped me from buying stupid shit because that's
Yeah.
what people do. They just buy stupid shit. And
Well, someone said to me, like a Bitcoiner said to me, sometimes when I want to buy something, I just buy Bitcoin, and because I think then in the future I could buy three of these things.
yeah, sure, exactly. Well,
And that was helpful for me. And I was like, right. But I also think, and maybe you can correct me or you can tell me your thoughts. I do think honestly that just women need more things than
okay.
men. Like,
Okay.
that's where this conversation comes in sometimes, where like um women are sort of like, we need, there's that conversation about like we need the man to like have a solid income and stuff like that. So just like ride with me here, because I know you can have this conversation with me, because it's not an easy conversation, because it sort of sounds like, this is like an internet conversation for sure, where it's like, I just think that as women, like, really to be like healthy, take care of ourselves, like we need more money.
Could not
Like,
disagree. I fully disagree. What?
everything costs more for a woman, though.
Well, how much shampoo are you using a week, Heather? You don't
Well,
need to
how long
shampoo
is
your.
your hair? Like, am I just supposed to cut my hair?
You don't need to shampoo your. Are you a shampoo every day kind of person? Like, can you?
No, I'm like 1 week to 1.5 weeks. Like,
Okay, so then
but I'm
yeah.
not talking about petty things like
What do you mean? What are
shampoo.
you? What are you buying to take care of yourself?
I'm talking about
How much Botox you got in that? You don't need
zero. I
that
would
shit.
never. I would
I
never
don't.
be toxic. Don't you know me? Like, I like to
Well, this
be
what.
clean.
What are you talking about that you need to spend money on? Why do
Like,
women need more money than men to look
well,
pretty?
first of all of our shit is more expensive. Like, everything is more expensive. Plus,
Buy
like,
the man's buy the man's
under
version of the stuff.
oh, gross. Who wants to do
What do
that?
you mean?
You want to be with a woman that's like
Do you wear deodorant? You're not a deodorant wearer, are you?
well, I mean, I have a very beautiful natural deodorant, and guess how much that costs?
You could have made it yourself.
Oh my God. Are you
Come on.
you're okay, you know that I used to be fully like that, right? Like, I didn't shave.
Sure.
I was I used to be like fully the hippiest of the hippies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That I wasn't always like this with my nails did,
Okay,
my
okay.
blonde hair. I won't even tell you how much that costs. But I'm not talking about even nails and hair,
What are you talking about?
although I am kind of, because like, as much as a man can be like, "Oh, just don't spend money on that stuff," they're not like we want, first of all, real men want women in their feminine, first of all,
True,
and women in their feminine want real men.
true.
But it costs money to be in your feminine.
I think you break down what your cost basis is to be feminine. Like what? What? I don't
Well, like,
understand.
I'm just saying, well, it's to me, it's actually not about being feminine, it's about being healthy. Like, if I had told you how much it cost me just recently to, like, go to the osteopath, say, for my pelvic floor, and then, like, do this cleanse that I was doing, because I was starting to be really balanced hormonally, and a lot of women, when they're unbalanced hormonally, they don't have sexual desire. That's not me, thankfully, but that's very common, and so a lot of women aren't even spending the money that they need to on their self-care, and don't even get me started of how none of this is covered in our healthcare, in our Canadian free healthcare, which is also a fiat problem,
Yeah.
and that's not even counting, like, just general products, like, because I think right now health is, like, how little you poison yourself, and then when you poison yourself, detoxing yourself, right?
Yeah, sure.
Because you could spend less and use, like, a super shitty toxic chemical on your body, or for your soap, or for your deodorant, or for your skin, or for your teeth, or for all that, and that could be cost for man and woman, like, if a man takes care of themselves, although I feel like men in general just are more it's easier for them to go without things,
Yeah.
like
I feel like you're projecting a little bit here, Heather.
maybe
What?
tell me.
What? You still haven't given me an example of what you need. Like, just
I just told you,
here,
so all the products.
here's a Bitcoiner answer to this. Just go carnivore. It's gonna solve your issues.
That's
Have you?
disgusting, and that's
What?
absolutely not true, because I am carnivore, but, like, I know
And it hasn't
exactly how
solved a lot of your problems, really?
I would never it would never, because my body, like, I have done every fast cleanse program that you could ever think of,
Yeah.
and I know exactly what my body needs, say, like, when I got like, spring was coming, I was inflamed, like, I had to hit the liver detox hard. Oh, that also costs money, but you can't say, like, a one solution fits all.
Yeah.
That's PMO.
What's PMO?
It's like it's a very young generation expression.
I don't even know that one. Okay, I'm too old for
It's
that.
very sometimes I just put on X PMO. This is PMO. It's like piss me off, but it's like used like that's PMO.
Wow.
My son and I would use it all the time. He's 15.
Wow, that's a new one for me. Okay.
It is. It's PMO.
Right on. Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll let you just keep
You
buying
don't
the
have to let me. I'm
you
interested.
can keep buying the shit that you need to buy, but I don't know. I'd love to see. You should do an experiment with yourself. Just don't buy any of the stuff that you say you need.
But I already did all that. So I live like that. Like I am done that for sure.
Uh,
I already lived that. I did that for many years. That's how I got to like healing my eczema, healing my asthma. That's how I learned like how to heal myself.
okay.
So I already stripped down that. I shaved my head. Like I was like, I stripped it all down. Like I'm not
Right.
trying to do that. And it's not that I'm even trying to necessarily like justify certain things. Like I'm fine with certain expenses that I have just like accepted for my comfort.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I just think sometimes in the conversation, like that's kind of the conversation where it's like, oh, just do this or stop doing that, as if that's like a solution
Sure.
without like an awareness.
Sure. So I guess everybody's necessities, you
Mhm.
can't tell somebody what their necessities are, right? Other than food, water, and shelter. If somebody, every individual is different, I guess. So if if you have necessities that I can't understand, then so be it. Yeah, maybe I have that male privilege to not need to get all this stuff that you get done.
But
I
it's
mean,
not even
yeah,
yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's even man, woman, but it's like if I take all the women I know, especially the women I know are like healthy women that take care of themselves, you know?
okay, yeah,
And especially the ones that are my friends. Like if I took their expenses versus their husbands or their boyfriends or whatever, an average a man their age, it's like, yeah, maybe the man is like generally spending more money on recreation or certain things that they might do, activities or like, I don't know, bike sea-doos, like whatever it is. But generally speaking on the day to day, there's just there's just more needs that a woman has.
sure. I
That
mean,
car.
I guess we can break it down to the whole idea that if you want to take care of yourself,
Yeah.
you need to spend money
Yeah.
in order to do that,
That's
regardless.
what I'm saying most.
Right, so that's fair. I think that's a symptom of the fiat world where to take care of yourself has become more expensive. To be unhealthy is less expensive. It's
Exactly.
cheaper it's cheaper to buy a kid a Happy Meal
Yeah.
than it is to buy them, a good steak dinner with steak on the side, right? It's like, but it's
Yeah.
true, right? So yeah, taking care of yourself has become more expensive. That's for sure. There's ways around that, I think. Like what I do for I used to buy this is another thing that changed in me. I used to eat fast food every day for lunch. I'd eat construction worker on the job site. Let's go to McDonald's, let's go to Wendy's, whatever it is, every day, right? Buying fast
Wow.
food. And then it got to the point where like a regular meal at a fast food joint is like $20 now, which is insane. We're talking $20 Canadian.
Yeah.
Um, which is like, I don't know, $3 American or whatever. But what I do now is I just buy roasts when they go on sale, or I'm looking at buying a cow, and then you just buy bulk meat.
Yeah, there's definitely
There's
ways
definitely ways
around. Like,
around
there's
it.
ways around. I mean, I do a lot of my own preparations and cooking, especially because I can't eat the way that I want to for my health to out, generally speaking, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And but I like where you brought that to, and I appreciate that because that's a good point. It's actually more again like a symptom of fiat. And when we think about even fiat food and when we think about like our free healthcare in Canada, this is actually a symptom of that because it actually shouldn't like I have probably spent like $50,000 on my health.
Wow.
Like if I really add it up. And it's like, how when someone says like when Bitcoin's pumping and someone says, "You're so lucky." And like then people will say to me like, "You're so lucky." Like someone said to me at the meetup the other day, like, "You look great for your age." And I was like, Thanks. But when someone says like, "Oh, you're so lucky," I'm like, "Let's go over what you ate and like what you did the last 20 years and what I did."
Yeah, you make your own luck. You make your own.
Yeah, like sometimes, sometimes people just have like a stronger constitution or they inherited wealth. Like there's some things that are out of our control. But I like how you brought it back to that because I don't know about you, but I find with like dating, this is a topic that sometimes makes me like undateable because like by normal people, like I definitely got like dumped a few times this year.
Yeah.
Because I can't shut up, and also because 'cause I'm just like, "Wait, though. You felt sick, and now you're taking an antibiotic? What?"
Yeah, just
Like, I just lost my attraction, like, I was no longer wet, like, I was just
yeah,
done,
that's fair.
you know?
Well, I mean, there's people. This is the thing. Bitcoiners and other people are extremely different in how they tackle literally any issue in life. It's just something happens. This is the Bitcoiners' response, and Bitcoiners are gonna get pissed off because, like, no, Bitcoiners don't have a one. It's like, yeah, well, you at least think about what you're gonna do, right? Wherein the fiater is just okay. I have a problem with my health. I'm gonna go to the doctor and listen to the doctor. It's literally one of the earliest things I remember learning about in Bitcoin is like do your own research. And I remember telling that to a friend a long time ago, and they're like, "Well, you don't just how did he say it? I don't know. Basically, just hey, would you just blindly trust somebody or not?" And fiaters usually do, and Bitcoiners are just like, "Well, let me just look this up for myself. This is the beautiful thing about the internet. You can get your own answers. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, but at least think for yourself, right?" Um, And most fiaters will just not think for themselves. I have a problem. Somebody told me the solution. Therefore, this is the solution. Right?
That's so true. That's why I found, like, once I started to get, like, be in Calgary and be in the Bitcoin community and the conferences, I just gotta remember, like, just coming home and crying one day because I was just like, "Oh my god, thank God I finally, like, met a bunch of people that could have just critically think and, like, think for themselves and know the value of thinking for yourself and deciding things for yourself and not being, like, led by a artificial carrot."
Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever done the Myers-Briggs thing?
Oh, of
I
course.
what do you know what you are off the top?
Yeah, mine is like it comes out like either ENTP or INTP because 'cause I'm like an introverted extrovert,
Okay,
so I'm shy but when I'm not, I'm not.
that's fair. A lot
Yeah.
one of the interests I remember doing it a long time ago, and I'm an INTJ. I was like, okay,
Oh,
cool.
I
What's that
can
mean?
see that.
And I remember hearing this is one of the rarest ones, and like pat myself on the back, triple Taurus. It's cool. Um, But then you go into Bitcoin and everybody's an INTJ.
Really?
Oh, so many you don't yeah, look make a poll on Twitter. It's insane.
Okay.
Everybody's an INTJ. And it's the rarest it's not the rare might be one of the
Oh, that's
rarest
tough.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so all these people are very have that feeling of loneliness because they can't relate to anybody else.
Mhm.
And then once you can relate to other people that think the same way as you, or at least see the world the same way as you, it's really great. Maybe that's another avenue that matters in the dating world. Just not to be the same type as somebody, but to at least understand what their personality type is. I think it helps to understand because everybody thinks differently. But if you can at least understand how somebody else thinks, then you can relate to them or you can have conversations that make more sense or at least you argue less, right? You can understand where their point of view is coming from. I do want to I want to bring it back a little bit to where you
Mhm.
said men need less things than women cuz I need your opinion on this girl I dated for a while, right?
Okay.
So
Okay, cool, yeah.
being the insane Bitcoiner that I am, I got rid of everything that I own. My house is pretty much empty. I tried to decorate a little bit for the YouTube people, but this is pretty much all I own. I spent way too many
We're gonna
sats
make
on
fun.
yellow, but thanks, Becca. I appreciate you and I love you. Anyway, so I'm dating this girl for a while. She comes over to my place. She looks in my closet. Her first thing she says is, "You don't own any clothes." And I was like, "Yeah, I have like 7 black t-shirts and 2 pairs of jeans, and then my work pants, and that's it. That's all I need." And that's what I own. Like I wear black t-shirts. I got one Made X t-shirt.
Yeah.
Shout out Made X.
Oh,
A couple Bitcoin t-shirts, and then I just wear black t-shirts and a couple pants that I own. And so to go back to your point that men need less things, I don't know how many clothes you own, but I don't own very much stuff.
yeah.
So is that something like, does that matter? It doesn't matter to me. Do you think it would matter to a woman's point of view?
Yeah, I do just because
You
it's
think if you came over to my place and you just saw black t-shirts, you'd be like, I gotta get out of here.
no, I wouldn't be like that, but I think there's like two sides. Because one is that cool, that's all you require.
Yeah.
You're minimal. And then the other thing, like my first thought would be is like, oh, like we're so limited in the places we can go because of his wardrobe.
No, like you can dress up a black t-shirt.
That's very true. And actually, I've thought I think that's like simple, like great simplicity where you just like don't have to think about what you want to wear.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like the feminine likes to show. The
Sure.
feminine likes
Be a
to
butterfly.
beautify and accessorize, and we get a lot of joy. Like to me, on my regular day to day, like although I started doing it more because I have been just like feeling my feminine flow more, just like being a little more Jessie and stuff. But I think that there's like obviously a balance because any of these things could get out of balance, like a woman having 300 pairs of shoes or whatever.
Sure.
I actually, if you like compared to you, I have like a ton of clothes, but compared to like most women I know, it's minimal.
Well, maybe there's something to say about the fact of think about very high class luxury events. What is the man wearing? Black
Mhm,
suit and tie. What is the woman wearing? Some beautiful dress, right?
mhm.
So, is that something that's been a thing? Like, I don't know how far back that goes. I'm just thinking about this now, but
Yeah.
the guy has always been more subdued and just looked clean,
Mhm.
black clothing, just fresh. And the woman is always wearing some sparkly red dress or whatever it is that just shows them off. So do you really want to date a guy that's going to go out
Mhm.
that's like being the flashy guy? Like we know those dudes exist. Do you want to be around that guy either?
I mean, I don't hate that guy sometimes.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
I
Fair.
like a fresh fade, I like I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but do you want a guy in this sequence t-shirt?
No, hell no. But I'm saying there's a balance, right? Like sometimes like I like a fresh cut, a fresh fit.
Yeah, look
I
clean.
like a
Look
stylish
clean.
type of dude for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but I
There's a
also
difference between looking clean and looking flashy.
yeah, like I love fashion though. So I like to me, I love like I always did a lot of stuff with like fashion and like I love the art of fashion, but like I hear you in the sense of like I don't feel like I have like a requirement in terms of like how someone would have to dress for me to be attracted to them because I'm generally like I am actually attracted to the soul of a person.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me it's a soul thing more than it is any of these things. Like yeah, obviously sometimes it's like a nice package, but I'm like over that part of my of my dating life. And but even then, even when I was, like, more about the nice package, like, I was still solely felt that soul connection.
No, I get that. I question that as well. Okay, so this is the thing about loving the soul, right? I
Mm,
think I just want to call bullshit on you, like first thing, because attractiveness matters, and here's why. When somebody is attractive to you, likely it's because, and if somebody is attractive in general, it's because they care about themselves. You literally just went on a rant for however long about This is how much it costs for me to take care of myself.
Mhm.
This is the kind of clothes that I like to wear. This
Mhm.
is what I do to my hair to make it look the way I want to. What does that all equate to? It means that you care about yourself, right? So attractiveness, I think, is in line with somebody that cares about themselves. Although I do appreciate the soul, of course, it matters. But if you find somebody that's run down, beat down, not in good shape, any of these things that is unattractive, it's because it's likely because they don't care about themselves. Like this is another thing. Before Bitcoin, I'd drink a lot of beer. I had a beer belly that would stick out like this. Like
Oh,
I'm not a fat dude, but like I had a beer belly that was gross. And then Bitcoin came and I was like, you know what? I should probably start giving a shit about my body because I'm excited for the future. Uh, and that's another thing, right? It's like people that don't care about themselves in the now don't care about the future, so therefore they're ugly now, they're going to be ugly in the future. They don't care about themselves, they don't care about their lives. So I think attractiveness matters, and sure everybody can have their own ideal of what is attractive, but ultimately it matters if the person cares about themselves, right? Like
yeah, yeah.
somebody can look good wearing a black t-shirt or wearing whatever thousands of clothes that you have, but at least it shows that it matters. So like, have you ever dated somebody? You say you only care about the soul. I'm like, I want to call you out and be like, have you ever dated somebody that you didn't find attractive though?
I tried.
Yeah, okay, there's your answer. And what happened?
No, I love this because I think you're right. I think you're right because I think ultimately I could be like I could feel a connection, which I think of as soul. Like for me, if there's not a connection, I have to try to force a connection, and I actually think that's a soul thing, especially when it's just like when you just meet someone and there just like is a connection, even like a friend or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I do think you're right. Like you took it to that next level of like, yeah, because ultimately energy, like I was thinking of soul as like energy,
Mm-hmm.
but then when you're saying it that way, I'm like, right, like somebody tending to their energy is attractive. And somebody tending to their energy is going to take care of themselves and is going to care how they present themselves to the world, not because they have to like look a certain way, but because like they want to allow themselves the freedom to like be fulfilled and happy like in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's like a balance. I think it's both, right? I think like that self-care is like is also like energetic care.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, you need to feel that certain connection with somebody. You need to feel that energy connection. But it's going to be a lot easier if
Yeah.
they're easy to look at. And
Or you find them attractive.
yeah, and
Yeah,
you find them attractive because they care for
totally.
themselves. Like, you don't want somebody that you need to take. This is probably getting more into deeper thoughts, but it's
Mm.
like you
I like
if you see somebody that's not taking care of themselves, what's your first thought? I'm gonna need to take care of this person, and that's not attractive.
yeah, that's why I have been single for so long.
You don't want to take care of people. And
Well, and I don't want them to be so close to what they might need if they needed care in the future, right?
sure,
But this
exactly.
leads me to like a perfect question that I want to ask you because I can't even believe it took me this long to talk to you about astrology and astrology girls.
Okay.
Because like this kind of brings me to like astrology because well, I think like we've definitely connected over astrology. And it's been interesting because I've been sending some charts to some other Bitcoiner guys and like they've been really loving the map of the sky. Like one of them said, like, this is like a biography of me. Like
Yeah, I know.
it's crazy. So do you think there is like, I don't know, I kind of was thinking a lot about that connection between like, you know, people that are into astrology and let's even say more other esoteric things and Bitcoin. Like, do you think that there's like a connection and also an attraction?
So the ultimate relationship, whoever takes over the world next, will be a couple that is an astro chick and a Bitcoin dude. That's like the power couple of the future for sure.
Yes.
Um, Astrology is important because because it's the oldest practice in like all of humanity. People looked at the stars and figured out what they meant. Uh, you talk about the soul. If you don't think you're like, yeah, we'll get into some weird shit here. But if you don't think you're a unique person, then, close the video. If you think you're a unique person, it's because when you were born, the universe was in such a alignment that it will never be in that alignment again for any other human ever, which therefore God made you in a specific way, in such a way that you were aligned with the universe at a certain time. It's a beautiful thing. And it's silly to think that you're not connected to that. I mean,
Yeah.
well, what's the hippie thing people say? It's like we're all stardust. It's like it's true, man. Like, it's true, bro. Um, so this is the other thing about the Myers-Briggs or any other personality test. It's like when you find out your astrology signs and your chart and you understand this, all it does really, it's not telling the future any of these things. All it does is place a chart in time of where the planets and the stars were aligned when you were born. Very similar to connected to Bitcoin for the haters. When you were born, nah, none of us listening, but when my son was born, there was a certain block that was being created, right? And for the rest of humanity, every child born from here on into the future will have a block that they can look
Yes.
at and say, like, this was my block that I entered the world at. This was the state of the network. This is how things worked. And it cannot be changed. It cannot be fucked with. It cannot be anything. It's like this was the network, this is how it worked, this is
Mhm,
where I was, and this is when I was born.
mhm,
It's the exact same thing for the universe.
mhm.
You can't change
Exactly.
it. It's just it is what it is, and then you can use those tools to relate to you, to who you are as a person. Um, and I think it's helpful. It just comes down to understanding people. Um, when you understand what somebody's sign is, or deeper down their moon, their sun, all that shit, it helps you understand them as a person.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of conversations with just like I laugh at it a lot too because I'm like this psycho Goomba laser eyes shooting out of my face, and I'm like, hey, bro, let me check your chart out. And then I've had these really meaningful conversations of like, oh,
Yeah.
wow, what? Yeah, and it's like, wait a second, this does sound a lot like me. It's like, yeah, it's cool, and then it's great,
Well,
you
and I
that
don't
a little bit about yourself.
like the true, you can learn a lot about yourself. And again, it's not it's not like predictive.
No.
It's just but I mean, my favorite part of astrology for this whole last year is the North Node.
Mhm.
And the North Node is like the soul's purpose. And, something I realized after like doing so many hypnosis sessions when people had like complex patterns or complex issues that like I couldn't unhypnotize them out of, basically,
Mhm.
it came down to soul's purpose. Because these are the themes. These are like the biggest themes of our lives. These are the things where people are like, why the hell can't I get out of this? And now they might even come and do it again. But it's also what happens when we can understand like what we came here to explore and grow in. And then we generally could, it also like, it can help people like stop resisting the thing that they're resisting the most, because that complexity, that complex pattern is like literally the door to evolution, to your soul's evolution.
That's cool.
So there's so much that can be, found and read in that. Like even when, like when people choose a profession or people choose a job or people even that are more akin to aligning with Bitcoin. Like you said about the INTJs, but this is like the literal souls, that came here to do this. And that's like what I've been geeking out on is like, what are some of these aspects? And they're definitely like visionary aspects, right? They're people that their purpose is really aligned with like the ethos and the change and the evolution and the rise of consciousness that Bitcoin is offering us today.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think people that are astrology haters, it's like they just don't they haven't put in the work to understand what it is. It's not predictive or anything. It just kind of gives you uh, a direction, I guess, and then you can choose to follow it or not. You can relate that a lot to any of the great religious or spiritual leaders of the past. It's like, hey, maybe do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right?
Mhm.
Oh, that's probably a good idea. Let me try it out. Turns out it's great for society and civilization if you follow those words. Uh, so you just have to use, like, I don't know, take what works, leave what doesn't. It's fine. If it's helpful, great. If it's not, it's fine too. Keep trying to figure out your life on your own. But why deny? Why just throw it to the side? I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, like, well, actually, you know what? I got an idea. I'm gonna start being like the toxic Bitcoiners about astrology and be like, if you haven't done your first 10 hours of research.
Yeah, at least find your moon sign, man. I think I've had this theory. I was talking to another astro chick on Twitter. I think a lot of people's on Twitter, it's
Mhm.
their either their moonshine showing and or their Mars, right? Like that's what you're showing when you're on online. Because mostly it's just how you fight or argue or who you are in your most genuine self. And
Yeah, or your
I think
public, also like your personality too, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Mhm.
So people like people of the past didn't have the opportunity to be so directly connected to their Mars or directly connected to their moon. Whereas now that's pretty much all you see, especially from Anons on Twitter, where they're showing their like quick little crash course for anybody listening. Your moon sign is who you are, like who you are as a child. Basically, it's your most inner soul, right? It's your real deep thoughts as opposed to your rising, which is who you are when you first meet somebody. It's like the front you put on, and then your sun sign is just like your total self. But your moon sign is who you are to the people you care about most. And I think when people are online, maybe this could relate to dating as well, right? Especially online dating.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to be your most authentic self. Your most authentic self is your moon sign. And so I think that shows off the most. So if you can find that information about yourself and what it means to who you are, that will help you understand why you're making the choices that you are and or help you make better choices along the way.
Yeah. Well, and just also being conscious, like conscious of what you're sharing and how you're expressing yourself. And when you know parts of yourself, then you can also have like, it's not like choosing who you are, but it's like, it's understanding like what parts of you might be more insecure than other parts. Because I think insecurity just happens so much in dating too. And just having like self-awareness is just so helpful to like not project your insecurities on the other person or not become like codependent, but become like interdependent.
Mm, yeah,
And that's maybe like a whole nother podcast.
for sure. Like you just need to ultimately it just comes down to understanding yourself, who you are and what you want to be and what you want to do, caring about yourself. If you want to find somebody that you actually mesh with, you want to be your most authentic self to that person. Otherwise, you're going to live a lie.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that live lies in the fiat world. I think there's a lot of people that aren't their true authentic selves. And I think that the world will be a better place with more people being open and honest about who they are, whether they say something that pisses people off or not. Because it's
Yeah.
better to piss somebody off and say something that they're not going to like rather than to just shrug your shoulders and not care. Like, what are we here for if not to interact with each other? And how do you interact with somebody if you don't have your own individual thought? Like,
That is great advice. No, like I want to just have a moment for that advice because like it's just great advice because even if like that makes people dump you or not be with you, like it's
yeah.
better,
Hmm.
you know? And okay, one last question before we go because this is getting almost close to my bedtime.
It is, yeah, it's very late.
I'm an old lady, you know. You go to bed
Me too.
early, wake up early. So okay, so let's say this because like sometimes we do have like Bitcoiner men that are wanting to date and like are wanting to start to put themselves out there more or like attract a aligned relationship. Would you have like any thoughts or advice for them?
Good luck. I don't know, man. I'm not like Heather. That's why I came on the show to figure it out. Clearly, whatever I'm doing in the dating world isn't working. I would recommend not screaming about Bitcoin on date one. I know it's hard.
Yeah.
I gotta continue to try to do that, but I continue to
Mhm.
fail. Um, yeah, I don't have any dating advice. I'm not good at it. I'm single. That's why I'm on the show. I thought I was here to find. No, I'm just messing.
Nah, I mean, it is good to talk through these things.
Yeah.
Okay, then I have advice.
Okay.
I mean, if you know me, I don't really give advice because I think everybody has the answers within them. I think first of all, your main thing of just like being yourselves is just advice for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the best advice for dating. But like then if we're saying, maybe uh maybe being cautious of like coming off too strong on something that like because like Katie and I we
But
were talking.
could you imagine if you meet somebody like
Mhm.
and you're a crazy Bitcoiner and you come off screaming about Bitcoin and it
Yeah,
just so happens that they're also a Bitcoiner?
I know.
Wow, what a connection that would be.
Well,
That
and
would
would
be
that necessarily like I don't know. I'm just like, would that even necessarily turn someone off, like being like super fascinated about
well,
Bitcoin?
this is
Because
the thing, like you want to talk
I
about the things you care about.
yeah, and like Katie and I were saying, like it's sexy as fuck when a man has like is really passionate, like in a specialized sense, like has specialized knowledge and like especially has specialized knowledge with a purpose. Is
Hmm.
my caveat. And so I think it's like I don't like to make prescriptions about things. Like I like people to be more wild in their risk taking and their approach, especially around love. Like I don't like to be like I watched this one podcast that was saying, "Oh, make sure you do this with your hands and like don't say this and don't say that." And like that's gross. You know?
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's gross.
I yeah, one of the girls that I dated for a while,
Mhm.
still friends with her now. We just kind of had different views on a few things. She was kind of a commie. It's fine. Um, but like right off the bat, she even said this. She must have been watching some of these shows too, because I brought up uh money, politics, and spirituality and religion, right? And she's like, "Well, those are the four things you're not supposed to bring up on a first date." I was like,
Yeah.
"Well, let's fucking go." Like, I don't know. And then, it ended up growing into something cool because
Yeah.
talk about the things that matter. I don't know. I got no
Yeah.
time for Bitcoiners have no time for small talk.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
got no
that
time
was
for that
like the
shit.
rules in my household growing up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why
So
that's some weird rule that Bitcoin's
it's
gonna break.
really
I don't know.
unhelpful for many things. So
Yeah.
I like that. And I think that ultimately, like, there's got to be a sense of trust, in dating, just like in anything. Like, there has to be a sense of trust, like knowing that it's coming. Like, you don't have to, like, put yourself in a box or and I'm not talking to you, I'm just saying in general, like knowing it's coming is like the key to every manifesting everything.
Mhm.
Act
It's
as if it's on the way.
yeah. You're talking about hyper Bitcoinization. Is that what you're talking about when you said
I'm
it's coming?
talking about like a love being love, like hyper Bitcoinization, like I don't know, systems crashing and burning.
Yeah. I don't know.
But
We'll see.
ultimately, like, if you can't hold the desire in your freaking chest, like, if you can't hold your desire in your chest, then, like, you're just gonna get dragged through the mud, and you might anyway even while holding that desire in the chest, because it's gonna make you grow and freaking evolve, but at least while you're being dragged through the mud, you're, like, fueled by this, like, inner knowing that, like, "This is where I'm going, though."
Hmm. Hmm. I completely
So
agree. You have to be on a path, and you got to meet people where they're at on their path, and hopefully they're on a path. I think maybe that's just there's a lot of fiat people that are not on a path at all.
oh, everyone's on a path,
They're
but they
just
just might not know
no.
it.
There's a lot. There's a lot of people just walking in circles. Like, what are your
Yeah,
hobbies?
just
Oh, I
no,
just
but
ruined. I suppose that's a path. Yeah, walking in a circle, doing the same shit over and over. That's a path.
That's a
Get
path.
off. Get off of that path. It's a shitty path. It's not the Bitcoin. That's not the Bitcoin path.
Okay, wait, now before we leave, after remembering, so I wanted to quote you on this and post it on X, because oh, fuck, I'm gonna have to watch it back. What did you say?
What did I say? I say a lot of crazy shit.
Now I'm gonna have to, I guess I'll have to wait. I lost it. But hey, thank you for showing your face for my podcast.
For sure. I'll direct. If you think I'm crazy or you're interested in watching more of my shit, check out my show. It's called Bitcoin Brilliance. It's on YouTube and Spotify and all this stuff. It used to be called Why Bitcoin. I pivoted from that name. I talk to crazy Bitcoiners about Bitcoin, and I also have been doing deep dives on Bitcoin books. A guest of your show, Heather, Scott Deedles. I'm gonna hopefully be contacting him soon to talk about the DAO of Bitcoin. It'll be cool. My new episode's going to be with Eric Kaysen about crypto sovereignty. This is going to be a lot of fun too. So yeah, thanks for having me on my show. I appreciate you. This was a lot of fun. You're a cool chick. I love talking about Bitcoin to Bitcoiners.
Thanks. I look forward to continuing our ongoing conversations.
Absolutely.
And yeah, thanks so much. And I'll post all of your links in the show notes too.
Right on.
Okay, ciao for now.
Bruce.